My name is Ania Fompovo. Thank you for your time. And we continue with the analysis of what happened over the weekend. Saturday, the 4th of November, 2023, the NPP going to the polls to elect its presidential flag bearer. And of course, in the person of Dr. Bawumia is what the NPP found as suitable for the election 2024 coming up. You know, a lot of breakdown has come up. Political analysts, journalists, and also political activists themselves have all contributed and be analyzing the situation. But we continue with the analysis of the vice president, now the flag bearer of the NPP. What's his potential? Is he a person that Ghanaians will find suitable to continue its work that it's doing now as a political party leading the governance system of the country, or the country will find it suitable to go for the former president, or the country may want to break the double jinx of these two political parties, that's the NPP and the NDC, and probably use a third force to disrupt activities as far as votes are concerned. We'll do more analysis on that. Here on Good Afternoon Ghana. Mumuni Believer Lekpalmo is actually a research center for policy advocacy and governance. He will join us. He's the executive director. And also Evans Namako is a position, Evans Namako is actually the director of elections for the NPP. And Dr. Bernard Tutubuahing is a political marketing analyst. He will also join us. And governance spokesperson, government spokesperson Kofi Tonto will also join us in studio here. My name is Ania Fompovo. Let me take a break. When I come back, we'll start talking immediately. You're welcome back to the program. It's Good Afternoon Ghana, and we're talking NPP just ended presidential primaries that had Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the vice president, elected as the flag bearer of the party. Before I start talking to my guests, let's give you just take you through a journey through the acceptance comments of the other three aspirants, of course, including Dr. Bawumia too, as a fourth aspirant, as a winner, and eventually becoming the flag bearer of the party. Let's give you those videos now.
Tonight is also another great day in the history of the New Patriotic Party. We have made history, and this history will remain in this party. We want to thank first and foremost the creator of the universe for giving us this day, that we are gathered here to adore our newly elected flag bearer and leader of the New Patriotic Party. Let me take the opportunity formally to congratulate H.E., the Vice President and flag bearer-elect. Earlier on, I placed a telephone conversation with him, and then I considered to him and congratulated him for the marvelous work that he has done to achieve this history. The task is over. The battle ahead is to secure the victory of 2024. And so I also want to thank the rank and file of the party and all delegates for making the presidential primaries today a successful one. Together, we have to prosecute this agenda. And I can assure you that, Francis Adainimo, I am committed to the cause of the party and for history to be made in 2024 by the party breaking the 8 to stay in government for 12 years and for 16 years and beyond.
It is possible.
Of course, the victory has been delivered to the man. It is possible. In 2024, we are looking forward to seeing the victory being delivered to the New Patriotic Party under the "It is possible" slogan. I want to urge all members of the party, let us bury our differences. Let us pursue peace and unity amongst ourselves. It is better that we stay in government than to go out of government.
All of us here tonight are witnesses to a very historic event. For 16 good years, the face of our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has represented the image of the New Patriotic Party. The time has come to change the baton, and the party has made a firm decision to bring in the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. It is a very incisive decision that has been taken today. So from today, we are going to see a new face. I'm very confident that having worked with the Vice President on all the major institutions of the government for 6 years, that he will lead us to victory come next year, 2024. I would entreat everyone who has taken a hit in the heat of the campaign. Let's bury all those and pretend that they never happened. And let's get together as one in unity so we can defeat the NDC. Come 7 December 2024. Thank you very much.
Indeed, it's a great day today. I believe the party has been fair and transparent. Yes! That is the only thing I've always been preaching. And I must admit, this election is fair. And my grassroots have spoken. And therefore, I accept the results in good faith.
DJ Sky Lolo.
I pledge my support that we're going to work tirelessly to break the eight. So, party members that we are here, we should put everything behind us and let's unite this party. With unity, I believe we can break the eight. And that is all I've been preaching for. So I congratulate the Elections Committee, the Police Department, Electoral Commission, and the party members for the commitment you've shown for peace. And I want to assure you, in 2024, the showdown is being...
All right, you're welcome back. So those were some of the bites of the three aspirants that competed with His Excellency Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Adai Nimo, Francis Adai Nimo, Kennedy Ejapong, who's an MP, and also Dr. Wusefri, who's former Agric Minister. I already have with me in the studio Kofi Tonto, who is on the Vice President's campaign team. Kofi, you're welcome. I know you've been working since morning, so we're grateful that you made time to also join us here on Good Afternoon Ghana. Congratulations, I should say.
Yeah,
I think you should be in the right. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel tired.
You feel tired?
Yeah. I feel very tired.
You don't feel that it's worth it? Maybe the fight was worth
certainly. I mean, I feel tired and exhausted. But that is the fight we chose to, right? And I think it's been a victorious fight, which we are extremely excited about. It went the way that I expected it to go. I knew His Excellency was going to come out victorious. However, I wasn't so sure of what the margins would be. I think the Honorable Kennedy Japan did well. He showed strength in the contest. But for me, I wasn't entirely surprised because as far back as June, I knew that he was the true contender for the vice president. You know, before this whole election started, the conversation was around the Honorable Alan Kojo Martin and then the vice president for a long time. And then Kennedy came into the fray over a year ago. And I recall, if my memory serves me right, I recall that he went to one of the Bono regions and he met people, and my memory recalls him standing with people circling around him and giving them his message. At that time, we all felt that maybe not. Maybe he would do it to a point and then come out of it. But then at some point, it became evidently clear. And so around June, thereabouts, when we were on the grounds campaigning, it became clear that the Honorable Alan Kojo Martin was out of the race. Very, very clear. Because prior to that, the conversation was Bawumia Alan. And then by June, the conversation was Ken Bawumia. So for some of us, the August 26 results was not really surprising for us because we knew that the Honorable Alan had been pushed away out of the contest a long time ago. So
How did you get to that conclusion that Alan
because
was pushed
on the
out of
ground,
contest?
when you go to the ground, I'm saying that before that, when you go to the ground, it was Alan Bawumia.
Yeah.
Alan Bawumia. And then by June, when you go to the ground, it's Bawumia Ken. Alan literally fizzled out of the conversation. He was gone. So I wasn't so surprised that the results came out the way it did. And then the last month and a half or so, Kennedy doubled up on the campaign strategy and the campaign message, which to a degree resonated with a section of the party's base. For me, the lesson that I gleaned out of the results really was, one, we have a good chunk of our base is dissatisfied. You can reasonably say that a good chunk of our base is dissatisfied. Why can you deduce that? Because of the message Honorable Kennedy Japan pushed, which was, I'm a grassroots person, I'm for you, I'm not part of the government. So to get 37% voting for him means that a good section of the populace or the delegates believed in that message, that we all worked for a government to come into power and we feel like we are not part of it. You can even segment a section of those who voted for Dr. Bawumia to feel the same, except to say they may not have voted on that reason. So it's a clear message to us that we really have to look at our base and really fight the issue of discontentment, fight the issue of apathy, and address the issue of unity. And then, honestly speaking...
But you know, you cannot fight the issue of unity on the basis of just fighting the unity.
No, not
fighting
at all.
to gain unity. I'm not sure you would also say that the hinges on which Honorable Kennedy Japan campaigned on are lies.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we can debate whether his message were lies or not. That's something we can debate. I, in particular, took a lot of the messages and I was able to disaggregate them and in many instances prove why the arguments for me were not tenable. But the point that I'm making to you is that We have to push that aside. We've moved from that point. The point is people bought the message. 37% of the people bought the message. And I'm saying that that message, there are more even within, or there are some even within Dr. Baumia's space who may, to a degree, resonate, but decided not to vote on that as their reason. And then the data also showed, at least in my estimation, that when you come to the urban areas, you saw that the general economy also made some impact, especially in the urban centers. And I'm saying all of these things to say that as a campaign, we are fully cognizant of what the challenges that lie ahead of us are. And we are going to confront the challenges head on. And if you listen to the VIP's message, it almost addressed all of the challenges as if it knew. It spoke about unity. It spoke about the party. It spoke about the youth of the nation and how dissatisfied they are. It spoke about the economy. It spoke about the vision forward. It spoke about recovery, essentially trying to address all of these challenges. Nevertheless, I think it's a victory worth celebrating because it brought about a lot of historical moments. One, the fact that for the first time we are going to have two Northerners contesting. The fact that for the first time the MPP is presenting a Northerner as a candidate. The fact that for the first time MPP is presenting a Muslim as a candidate. The fact that Dr. Bawumia for the first time contesting for the first time became victorious with the highest percentage in the history of our party. NPP. So he's chalked, and then for the first time a vice president contesting and leading the party in our party. So a lot of history have been chalked. And so it is worth commending it. For me, the message that sends is that MPP is a Ghanaian party. MPP has taken on, and it always been a Ghanaian party, but for propaganda. Unfortunate comments by President Mahama to the effect that a Northerner can never become a leading or flag bearer for the MPP, not in his lifetime. That's what President Mahama said.
So this was done to prove President Mahama
No, we
wrong?
didn't do anything to prove anybody wrong. We just went about and elected a person who qualified and we believed that has what it takes to help us break the 8. I was only bringing in what President Mahama said, that at least he should come out and apologize to Ghanaians. If he's a man of conviction, he should come out and make a statement that whatever he said was wrong. And a man of his stature shouldn't have dabbled in that kind of politics. Because he said emphatically that not in my lifetime would the MPP ever present a Northerner. So you are working, admitting that Dr. Bawumia is working, and they are going to dump him. I think President Mahama needs to come out and accept.
The way you are, emphasizing on that, I want to believe that the MPP worked hard to assuage the minds of Ghanaians or persons like President Mahama and their comments that the MPP is an account party and never in his lifetime will they make a Northerner a flag bearer. Maybe that was a challenge he threw to the party.
No,
the party
we don't need President Mahama. No, we don't need
that.
President Mahama to throw any challenge to anybody.
So then why
if there
has
is
it become
any challenge,
so
he should
necessary
focus in his party.
And I've seen the General Secretary made comments to that. It's not true that the MPP is an account party and he's, other comments like that just to prove to Ghanaians that you guys have been making this comment, but it's not true.
No, I'm saying that.
And that is after the first time the party has elected someone, a non-Akan, to lead the party.
No, I'm saying that. The party went to the contest to elect a person we felt could lead us to victory. And remember, although the economy has a major feature in what decides a president. Becoming a president is a multifaceted endeavor. So there are several reasons why a person will become a president: the economy, background, vision, etc. So we analyzed all of that, and the delegates felt that per the permutations, per the analysis, this is the person who offers us the best chance of breaking the 8. But I'm saying that in that spirit is what guided us in deciding who leads the party. But I'm only drawing the attention of Ghanaians that President Mahama made that comment respectfully, a reckless comment, which at that time should have been condemned. By all well-meaning Ghanaians. That no, I don't think a party would deliberately sideline a group of people. Do you know today the National Media Commission...
At that time, when he made that comment, maybe persons didn't see it as necessary to condemn because he was speaking to the reality.
What reality?
At that time,
what
the
reality was he
reality
speaking
that
to?
MPP had never had any either tribe to lead the party but an Akan. That has been the history.
First of all, reality is underpinned by facts and the evidence of the day. At that time,
What were the facts?
exactly?
What were the facts?
When Adubuahin was contesting, who was the most popular person at that time? When Kufuor was contesting, who was the most popular at that time? When Akufo-Addo was contesting, who was the most popular at that time? The facts are that they were. And it wasn't like we had a northerner or non-Akan person at the time who stood so tall and it was so obvious, and then that person was cheated. That wasn't the fact. We had persons who proved at that time to be extremely competitive. And we didn't have a contender at that time who were better than them in terms of everything.
Hold on, let me engage Mumuni Believe Alipamo, who is the Research Center for Policy Advocacy and Governance, the Executive Director. Mumuni, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Good Afternoon, Ghana. If you can hear me, let's hear you. Maybe greet us so that I'm sure you're on.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Annie,
you.
and then good afternoon to you and my brother Tonto.
Good afternoon. I appreciate your time. So Muni, the analysis of Dr. Bawumia, now elected as flag bearer of the NPP. What are the dynamics he's bringing into the political fray now going into election 2024?
Before I proceed, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the NPP for a successful, should I say, flag bearer elections, which was not devoid of monetization, the chaos, and the demonstration of going into a contest whereby we have an established system, or we have a whole government apparatus supporting or rallying behind a single candidate, though the candidate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, was a vice president, and you can't take or dispute that, but the form of establishment that supported that call was to the highest of
Hello, Mumuni.
winning, let me say, 14 out of the 16 regions, having about 22,000 votes, as against a close contender, Honorable Kennedy Ohina Japan, of over 11,000 votes. Listening to my brother Kofi Toto, if I get the name right, he made a statement about a chunk of their base being satisfied with the outcome of the elections. But it is said that data does not lie. I strongly believe that per the data, indeed, if you want to put it in the real context, it was rather a vote of no confidence. And I'm saying this to arrive that, one, this is someone who had 68% in the superdelegates elections. This is someone whose own research and that of others who were thinking in the line of the candidate were projecting the vice president, currently flag bearer, to have obtained anything less than 75%. But at the end of the day, we realized that he rather depreciated from 68% in the superdelegates to 61.47%. And it demonstrated that about 38.43% rejected our vice president, currently the flag bearer of the MPP. So even among their own party, if you could have a chunk of that figure saying no to your candidatureship, you realize that it is a big red flag or an alarm and a quest to worry. So that is one strong thing that I will want Ghanaians and the MPP themselves to really do a deep introspection into that. I also listened to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's speech, currently the flag bearer of the MPP. And what I could deduce from his speech was that he was basically running away or out of the current system in which he happened to be the vice president, which is the Nana Bawumia government as we find ourselves today. He spoke, forgive me to put it out, as if he had never tasted the seat of government before, purely running away from the mess or from the economic challenges that we face today. And if you agree with me, he is currently our vice president, someone who has ever been a deputy governor before. And as a vice president, your president, or let me say your candidate, chooses you to basically manage the economy, in which our current president re-emphasized that in Parliament during one of his state's broadcasts to the nation, that he chose the vice president purposely to manage the economy. And I think if you agree with me, the economic indicators today are all other pointing to the worst.
But in your capacity as a research Center for Policy Advocacy and Governance, you mentioned that. Hold on.
You agree?
Hold on. You mentioned that the election was marred with chaos. When you talk about chaos, what are you referring to? The campaign period, prior to the election, or the election period itself? Because with the election period itself, we all know that it was peaceful.
I'm talking about the D-Day, the misunderstandings, right from issues of voter register inclusion and exclusion of delegate names, right from basically, you can also talk about the super delegates, because if you have to talk about the election or the election of the flag bearer, it started from the super delegates level, or the things start from picking of nominations, right there to the super delegate, from super delegates to the actual, should I say, the broad system internal party elections.
So,
and you and I can agree with me on what happened to Honorable Alan Chairman. Agents.
So my question really was based on Dr. Bawumia now coming into the race as flag bearer. He has now joined as flag bearer. He's now confirmed by the votes of the political supporters or the delegates of the MPP. What are the dynamics he adds to the already existing flag bearers in the fray going into election 2024? That was my question.
Yeah, basically, I wanted to arrive there. But to go straight, the coming forth of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as flag bearer vis-a-vis the NDC's, His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's candidature as the flag bearer of the NDC. Basically, you can see that they've all been vice presidents before. So if you want to have a fair analysis, you pick their duration from His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's duration from 2009 to somewhere around 2012 and what have you. Then Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's vice presidentship right from 2017 till today. And you compare the economic indicators because they were all lead to our economic management teams. That is one. Two, we have a vice president who is yet to complete his term, but has become the flag bearership. That is what when Tonto was speaking, he made mention of. One, a northerner becoming a flag bearer. Two, he's talking about issues of religion. But I think going into these elections, these factors may not necessarily be at play. What is really going to count is going to be about track record. As a vice president, your role is defined for you. The saying Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said that if your fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate would expose you. You ask yourself, what's the exchange rate today? You look at the inflationary levels of his reign vis-a-vis that of the NDC regime. Secondly, you talk about employment rate. Other factors that is going to be introduced. If you listen to his speech, he said that he's going to be a man of his own. And I asked myself, what is he running away from? Is it from the failures of this current government? Is it from the hardships? So these are questions that I strongly believe that, yes, he's on board, but political sins are not forgiven. That is one thing that I want you to know.
Right.
Political sins are never forgiven. You serve as a vice president. Trying to exonerate or recuse yourself from current government in the name that you should be voted for because you are now the candidate does not wash.
Right. Mumuni, I'm grateful for your time, but I also have Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin, who's a political marketing analyst, also with me, University of Winneba. He's joined via phone. Doc, thank you for your time. Good afternoon. We've been with you since Saturday, and this is where we are. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, now flag bearer of the NPP. Do you think that all that we predicted, came to pass? I know that Global Info Analytics predicted, I think I want to get it correct, so let me just refer to it. And its prediction was 58.4% for Bawumia, minus of +1, and 40.4% minus of +1 for Kennedy Ejapong. The rest, we had Adainimo having 0.7%, and also a free 0.5%. These were their predictions, but we had other predictions that were going into the 75 and the 80s and all that. What do you make of all that has happened till now?
Yani, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to cherished viewers and listeners as well. I think that the process was smooth as we witnessed it on Saturday. Commendations to, the police service, with the way they controlled, behaviors. High commendations goes to EC, for the job that they did on the day. Believing that these two institutions, if they're able to translate, the achievements on Saturday.
If you can please speak up.
Yeah, believing that these two institutions, can you hear me, Claire?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
If these two institutions can translate what they achieved on Saturday, to national elections, I think that Ghana's name will move a step further, on the map of democracy across the world. I would also want us to recognize and appreciate, the conduct of the delegates and how they went about the business of the day. Also, we want to also appreciate what the leadership of the party also did, and all the aspirants. Kudos to them and their hard work.
What challenge that does Dr. Baumia throw into the system with two of the flag bearers coming from the two strongest parties, all coming from the north? What does he throw in there?
Yes, I think that the northern part of Ghana is going to be a tough war. As it is now, it is 50-50, hoping that the strength of each of the candidates will give his party, the dominance. And so, because of this, I expect that, the challenge will be deep. Hitherto, you realize that before the introduction of Dr. Baumia into the MPP politics, the NDC had dominated the northern part of Ghana, sweeping almost all, constituencies. But, gradually from 2008 down to 2012, up to 2016 and to 2020, you see the gradual gains that the MPP had made, because of the image, and hard work of Dr. Baumia. Probably the people have now accepted him as one of which wasn't the case, in 2008 and 2012. I think that once the acceptability has come, he has to probably prove beyond reasonable doubt that he is one of them, and probably he will do probably better.
So
Given the opportunity and trust.
even though it may seem as if the the MPP was not giving other tribes a chance, once the northern bit has come in, it will loosen up to make it easy for him to fight, even though former President Mahama has been in the picture for a while. That's what you're saying.
No, my analysis is party based. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm rather linking it to, the influence of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, since his introduction in 2008. Before the introduction of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Vice President, the Vice President for President Kufuor, Ali Mahama, was there. But we didn't see this kind of, strength that the MPP is demonstrating now. And, because of probably the introduction of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, gradually the MPP is being accepted at the north. And that is why we've seen them gaining about 50% of all the seats in the northern part of Ghana. All right, sharing it with the NDC currently. And my point is that going into 2024, now, if he is accepted and he continues within the direction that probably he has gone, and probably prove beyond, other, reasonable doubts, then it means that those who probably doubted him earlier, could probably switch to his camp, right? It is also a signal, to ex-President Mahama that there is some kind of threat looming, and that you cannot sit unconcerned watching. It means that the NDC must back up resources, up north, and probably do more than they wish to do. All right. And
so is the northern region likely to become the decider of election 2024 this time round, even though the two political parties have their strong holds?
No. For that one, that calculation, you see, anybody who picks that on that calculation wouldn't get it right. And that is for a fact, because obviously in the past, MPP had not done well in northern region. They have still won elections. Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you tie that calculation up now there as a decider, and then you concentrate too much there, it will be a disaster for you. You understand? So
Right.
you see, it is up to the political parties and their strategists that they have employed, who they are using, all right, to be able to understand the current dynamics, of things that goes into, deciding who wins an election. It's very important. You see, those days that voters will vote based on the appearances of presidential candidates, it's over. Those days that people were voting on ethnic lines, it's over. Now, for me, and what I see to be the case in 2024, it is a deeper case, of a scientific calculation, that needs to be done, targeting, the right segments and understanding their behavior and characteristics, knowing their acceptability levels, knowing what their needs are, and probably what will attract them to your side, of the competition. So that once you get these constituencies, then you are winning the election. All right. You
Right.
see, the question that the North is going to be the decider, I don't think so, because there are larger constituencies down south rather than the North. All right. And so if you concentrate on the North, believing that, hey, this is going to be a problem for me, and then you even get majority, you get 95% in there, and then you lose the largest constituencies across the country, then it means you are in trouble.
Right.
Okay. The deciding constituencies are still intact. They are still intact. All right.
Right.
And they are still there. I mean, when you consult the EC data, you would see those deciding constituencies.
Right.
All right. And yes.
Right. Doc, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Good Afternoon, Ghana. On that note, let me take a break. When I come back, I'll come back to Kofi Tonso, who is still with me in the studio, to wrap up on how Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia intends to defend his position as president and, of course, as head of the economic management team going into election 2024. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Okay, we're hoping to get Evans Demarco to also respond to some of the things that came up during the electioneering process. But Kofi, since you're here, let me ask you, did you pay any delegates any money? Did you buy votes? 400 cities, 300 cities, 800 cities, 1,000?
Accountant. I don't recall or I don't know of any decision to give anything to anyone.
You don't recall?
I don't recall us taking a decision as a campaign to give money to anybody. What I heard was the party giving 50 seats. So even that I'm yet to verify for transportation, etc. But you see, Nominee made a few utterances that I would like to react to. And I'm glad as a journalist, I think you did very well probing as you equally probed my submissions. Nominee sought to create the impression that the elections, August 26th and this one were fraught with chaos, etc. I mean, that's quite ridiculous.
Yes, but just hold on. Let me engage Evans Demarco briefly.
Sure.
Then we'll wrap up. Evans Demarco has joined us, on is it via Zoom? Is he via Zoom? And he's director of elections for the NPP. Evans, thank you for your time. Congratulations for the feat you've chalked. And maybe you would say that welcome to your new flag bearer into the political fray into election 2024. So, what can you say about all that you have been able to achieve now as we prepare ourselves to go into election 2024? Dr. Bawumia has already started feeling the heat of his responsibility as a head of economic management team, and he probably may have to respond to those things. But what do you think as a party, Was it a good idea to have elected Dr. Baumia as your flag bearer now? Are you all happy about it?
Well, thank you very much for having me and for the compliment. I think the party has been able to chalk this success as a result of deepened consultation among all stakeholders, i.e., our presidential candidate, the Electoral Commission, Ghana Police Service, as well as the media. It took all of us to be on the same page to comply strictly with the guidelines that were developed as a result of our intra-party engagement. And so I'll say that the party is happy for a very successful conduct of the exercise last Saturday. It's a victory for the New Patriotic Party, and the party is looking forward to conduct other internal elections. I.e., you are aware that we published and opened our orphan constituency primaries. We'll get that off our hand and then continue to go ahead with where we have certain members of parliament. We are not too bothered with what the other side will be saying about our internal elections. We don't expect anything positive from them.
But the party, of course, has internal rules. There were some candidates, there were some delegates that were caught on camera, making wild allegations of receiving money from either of the camps. Is the party making any arrangements to investigate these allegations that were made? As Metro TV here, we caught a lot of them talking about, how much they were giving by the candidates, which sometimes can be considered as vote buying.
Well, thank you. The party made arrangements for delegates to travel from their towns across the constituencies to get to the center to participate in this all-important National Annual Delegate Conference. And so those arrangements, when they put together by the party, will mean that the party will have to support our delegates. And where you've seen people who openly say that they have taken money, then it becomes a source of worry. The Political Party Act is clear that treating is an offense, and if you happen to have access to the guidelines that the party developed, we made it clear that it is an offense to sell your vote or buy vote. And so for those issues that have come up, if you also check from our party constitution, there are issues of misconduct. And so for people who are bold to say what you have recorded will be tracked, and we expect the disciplinary measures to be leveled against them.
How soon will that kick in?
We are just coming out of this exercise, and so appropriate officers will handle these challenges that you've reported. But I must also say that overall there were a lot of positives, and we will not allow this negative to cloud the all-important exercise that took place. The party now has a presidential candidate in the person of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. We need to go on the drawing board, put our strategies together, go visit all the 18 million registered people on the electoral roll, and make sure that come December 2024, majority of them will vote for His Excellency Dr. Baumia to be the next president of Ghana.
Evans Nemako, thank you for speaking to us. We'll leave you here as our time is almost up. Thank you for speaking to Good Afternoon Ghana. Let me come back into the studio. Kofi, you were making a point before.
So I think my senior brother
Momoni
and director has addressed the issue of chaos. So I will not even indulge it anymore. I think the other issue Momoni tried to raise had to do with running away. I don't know what speech he listened to. The vice president accepted that we are facing economic challenges and even used the word recovery, that as part of efforts that he is going to lead is to help government engage and aggressively pursue the recovery strategy it has. And then the vice president even addressed Ghanaian youth, saying that their concerns are legitimate and well accepted. So I don't know where he got the impression of running away from. And then lastly, the vice president was not running away. Even twins who are born from the same belly on the same day have different visions. A man and a woman who are married, each has their own vision. The vice president was saying that I am now elected as the leader of the New Patriotic Party. I'm a man of my own and I have my own vision. And he was simply espousing that vision. I don't see how a person espousing his personal vision is tantamount or equal to running away. The vice president will never run away because the fact of the matter is Ghanaians have given us 8 years and we have to account for the 8 years.
But it's too glary, the vice president's silence on the economy now.
No, the vice president hasn't been silent on the economy. The government has a growth strategy, a recovery strategy, and the government is pursuing that recovery strategy. Fortunately, it's starting to yield results. Today, KPMG came out to say that indeed they can attest that government growth or recovery strategy is on the right path. I'm sure you've seen the story because it was on Metro TV. IMF has come out to say the same thing. Even Fitch, which downgraded government, has now begun to upgrade government again. So he cannot be the one that says that I'm running away from the economy. He's helping resolve the issues we are confronted with. But what is more important is you have the issues, you are helping fix it. What's the way forward? How do you assure us? And that is why he emphasized more on the youth, emphasized more on his vision and how he intends on achieving his vision. And he said, I'm going to leverage technology to transform the economy. He mentioned food security, digitalization, etc. as part of his vision. And using the youth as the anchor, unleashing the innovative spirit of the youth as the anchor or the fulcrum for whatever it is he wants to achieve. So he's not running away from anything.
Right.
But the last thing that I want to say is that we want to congratulate the Honorable Kennedy Japan, Honorable Adenimo, and then Honorable Akoto for participating in a free and fair elections and conceding on their defeat. I think they've been extremely magnanimous and we must commend them for what they've done. Now what we have to do is to address the issues the elections pointed out. As I said, the voting spelled out a few concerns: apathy, economic issues, unity issues. We need to immediately address these issues and make sure we get our team together,
right?
Get our acts together and move forward. Yeah.
Kofi Tonto, I'm grateful. Kofi Tonto is a government spokesperson and on Dr. Bawumia's campaign team as well. I'm sure the team must be dissolved now to build a new one for the main elections. Earlier on, we spoke with Nominee, believer Likpamo, who is also governance executive analyst, and he spoke with us. Also, Evans Demako is the director of elections for NPP. Dr. Bernard Tutu-Boahen also spoke to us, political marketing analyst of the University of Winneba. My name is Ania Fampo. Thanks for watching. Entertainment Review is next.